Here's a favorite. This is a whiskey called Thermonuclear from a local distillery called Element Brewing Company. It's like in Millers Falls, Massachusetts. My boyfriend got me this for Christmas. It's like made with spices, so it kind of tastes like apple pie. It hits your mucous membrane down in your stomach. It like warms you from within. It's like, I think I'm gonna have another sip. Hey friends, it's Kasha. Today's video is kind of like, everybody on YouTube is kind of doing their like favorite makeup products of 2018 videos. And I've never done a favorites video before, so I thought it would be kind of fun to do kind of like a ride or die tag. Like it's my favorite products of 2018, and most of the stuff is also my favorite products of all time. Of course, I'm gonna mention some stuff that I just picked up that I haven't really gotten to test out yet, that I suspect might end up being my new favorite. As we are right now in life, these are my favorite products. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start talking about first makeup and then skincare. And at the end, I'm going to do a couple random extras. So let's go ahead and start talking about first primers. My favorite primer of all time, I'm almost out of mine. And something that's not my favorite about this primer is that it goes so fast. As you can see, mine's almost empty. This is the Smashbox Primerizer. I love this primer. Seeing as I'm like a dry person, and I'm not sure which primer to use, I just slapped this on and I always have a great makeup day. And I also use this in my kit because it's very easy to keep sanitary. It comes in a pump. I always ask my clients, like, what tell me about your skin. Are you dry? Are you oily? Are you sensitive? If anybody says sensitive or dry, I usually will slap this on. That's probably why this goes so fast, because I use it on a ton of clients too. And I did recently repurchase this, and I just love it so much. As far as smoothing primers goes, this is kind of a new discovery for me, but I've been loving it. And I definitely feel like out of all the smoothing primers I have, this one's the most effective. I always have a great makeup day when I use this stuff. This is the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I just have the mini here, and I feel like this is gonna last me a while. I hope, at least, because I'm about to go into... I'm going to talk about this in a video soon, but I'm going to do a no-buy for the year 2019. So if I run out of this, I don't know if I'll buy more, especially because I've got so many other smoothing primers I got to get through. But that's the Tatcha Silk Canvas, and it's beautiful. It fills in your pores. It's not like a lot of smoothing primers are drying. This one is not. This one just helps me have a great makeup day. I love it so much. I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into foundation. My favorite foundation of 2018 and possibly of all time. I have two here that I'll be showing with you. I actually learned about this combo that I'm wearing on my skin today, but I learned about this combo from Jaclyn Hill, and I tried it out because I was just like, oh, I have both those foundations. Yeah, this is the Dior Skin Forever foundation. I have them in the shades 20 and 31. And that I mix together depending on how dark I am. And these are the Hourglass Vanish Stick Cream Foundations, and I have them in the shade Vanilla and Warm Ivory, which I also mix together depending on how warm I am. And then I mix these two together, and anytime I mix these two foundations together, I mean, look at how nice my skin looks today. Like, need I say more? Like, this is beautiful. I am wearing the first Solly primer today. I'm not wearing one of the primers I mentioned. Works really beautifully. I've never tried this combination before, and I'm so glad it worked out. Just, it's beautiful coverage. It's skin-like. It's not too drying. It's not too matte. Depending on what kind of primer you're gonna use, you can manipulate the finish of these, actually. Like, if you wanted to use a dewy primer, you can have a dewy finish. If you wanted to use a matte primer, you can have a matte finish. And they don't break up. Like, I find that, you know, I have drugstore foundations that I love too, and lots of other foundations. I don't have a huge foundation collection, actually. Other foundations I find crease in certain places, that they kind of turn into like little balls, like they break up and kind of look dry and patchy. None of that. This just looks beautiful. It's skin-like. It's got great coverage, buildable coverage. You can sheer them out. Like, these are just great, especially together. Jaclyn Hill's not wrong. She figured it out. She figured out the best, like, foundation combination for dry people. Love this stuff so much. When it comes to concealer, it's hard to say what my favorite one was. I actually haven't found a concealer that I think is perfect, you know. As far as the concealers I'm about to talk about, I just kind of picked two of my these are my most used concealers of all time. But there's certain things I don't love about them, so I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that they're my favorite of all time. As far as coverage goes, the Tarte Shape Tape concealer is definitely my most used, and it's a good concealer. It's pretty reliable. I'm wearing it on my face today. It's got beautiful coverage, but then I do find that it's drying, and it does kind of look cakey if you don't apply exactly right. You know, if you use too much powder, if you put on too much, it's gonna look cakey. And I don't think it's just moisturizing enough. Like I can't use it on mature clients. It's too dry, it just looks too cakey. But it is my most used concealer, and it is definitely, it's the most full coverage concealer that I have. Another concealer that I love, that I don't know if is my favorite, is the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat. Do you guys like my French accent? The YSL Touche Éclat concealer. I actually finished up one of these, and I had to replace it recently. I don't know if this is the one I used. Yeah, this is the one that's empty. This is the number 2 Touche Éclat, and I actually keep these in my kit because they're beautiful. They're like the best concealer if you're looking for a brightening concealer. Like that is what they're famous for, and I know that a lot of other makeup artists love it too, and I like to mix these with other concealers all the time to brighten up other concealers. However, on their own, they're not very full coverage. However, they just, I don't know, they're really wonderful for making the under eyes look more just flat, like not deep, not sunken in, not baggy, and just brighter, and it makes you look much more awake. And they're a little bit hydrating, not super hydrating. I actually, as far as hydrating concealers go, I love the Urban Decay Naked concealer. That's the most hydrating concealer, and I love that one, but I haven't used it as much lately. This one's a little bit more full coverage, and then I just like to, sometimes I'll mix these together, but they don't play super nicely together. But anyway, I love the Touche Éclat concealers, and I did recently replace this. It's something that I need in my kit. Like I can't do a gig without these, especially if I'm working on mature clients. Like they're the bride, the grandmother of the bride. I need these for them. So that is my Touche Éclat. I have a new favorite setting powder, loose setting powder that I just discovered in 2018. I never suspected that my Laura Mercier setting powder was ever gonna become outdated, because I thought it was great. There's nothing wrong with Laura Mercier, except that it's a little dry, you know. But Hourglass came up with a solution to that problem with their Veil translucent setting powder. This is just the mini that I have here. But this is basically exactly like the Laura Mercier, but it's even more finely milled and even like better for dry people. Like the thing that's tough when you're a dry person is that you wish you didn't have to set your foundation and your concealer sometimes, but certain concealers and certain foundations need to be set. And the solution to that is this. This is so finely milled that you can just pop on just the tiniest little amount. You don't even see that you're wearing powder, but it sets your makeup beautifully without making it look cakey. And it almost kind of has a luminosity to it. I don't know if you can see. It looks exactly like the Laura Mercier. But when I run out of this, I think I will repurchase this. This is really nice. I guess the next thing I'll talk about is bronzer, and this is a hard category for me because I only have a few bronzers in my collection, and I kind of like them all for different reasons, so it's hard to just kind of pick one that's my favorite. The first bronzer that I ever purchased is this Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I still very much love it. And I think if you look closely, you can start to see the rivets from how much I've used it. And I think I'm gonna hit pan on this soon. Did I mention that it smells like chocolate? It's beautiful. This is a really beautiful kind of warm but not too warm kind of bronzer. I don't know if this is my favorite. Like recently, I also love Benefit Hoola bronzer. That one's fine too. Recently started using this Chrissy Teigen palette a lot more, and I've used this bronzer, and this is this Malibu Soleil bronzer from Becca. This is really, like, I've been loving how this looks on me lately. I've only used it like maybe 5 times, but every time I was just like, oh, is this my favorite bronzer? I just don't know. In my Hourglass palette that by the way, like, I can't do a gig without this palette. This is like such a must-have palette in my life. Like, this is a favorite. This Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit palette from last holiday. Wasn't able to get my hands on the new ones that came out, but this one's the one from last holiday. I got it in gratis at Sephora. Probably the most treasured piece of gratis I've ever... It's definitely the most treasured piece of gratis I've ever received from Sephora. You can see I've actually hit pan on this product right here. This is Ambient Dim Light Powder. I use that on everybody. I use it on my own face every day, and I use it on clients all the time. I actually have a backup of it here, and I still have quite a bit of this guy here, so I'm going to be using that up in 2019. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I opened this palette up to show you this bronzer. This is a beautiful luminous bronzer as far as like if I need my bronzer to have luminosity, and this one's very warm. I'll use this one. This is also super beautiful. I think I'm leaning towards the Becca bronzer. That might be my favorite. I do believe it is safe to say my favorite drugstore bronzer is the, of course you know it, it's the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I love the smell of this stuff. Like, I sometimes will open this up just to smell it. It's like just a kind of like a coconutty smell. I love it so much. I love this bronzer because it's probably the most cool tone bronzer that I own. It doesn't even matter that it's a drugstore bronzer. It's like, it might be my favorite bronzer, actually. Because anytime that I'm doing a look that is more cool toned, and most of my bronzers are pretty warm, so if I use one of them, it's gonna kind of clash. It's probably my most cool tone bronzer, and it's beautiful, and I love it very much. Yeah, I've used it enough so the texture on it is actually flattening out a little bit, so that is a good sign. When it comes to blush, this was also kind of a hard one, but I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. My favorite just one-off blush of all time is probably this color. This is Flower Child by Becca. This is just like a beautiful, just kind of peachy pinky, natural flush, little sunburnt kind of look blush. It's just beautiful. I just love it. It just like, on days where I don't know what blush to pick up, like, as long as I'm wearing a warm tone look or a neutral look, like, this is beautiful. And I think this is like a slightly more flattering version of the color my cheeks naturally blush to, and that's kind of like your goal when you're picking out a blush. You wanna pick out a blush that is gonna be mimicking your natural flush, you know? So that's probably my favorite blush of all time. An honorable mention, however, whenever I'm going for like a cool tone look, I'll probably use Mood Exposure by Hourglass, which is this one right here. This is such a good palette, you guys. I love this bronzer. I love these highlighters are beautiful too, and these blushes are amazing too. Like, these are nice, beautiful, like subtle bridal highlighters, and these blushes are just everything. And Mood Exposure is probably Hourglass's most popular blush, and for good reason. It's just like a beautiful mauve, neutral, kind of cool toned blush, and if I'm ever looking for a cool tone blush, this is the one. They really knock it out of the park with some of these holiday face palettes from Hourglass. If you can get your hands on one of these, try to get one. I wasn't able to get my hands on the new one this year. I really wanted that Unlocked palette that Samantha Ravindal was recommending. Oh, I wanted it so bad, but it's never coming back. It's never coming back. Another honorable mention is this Note blush that I got from in my BoxyCharm in the color Desert Note. Also a beautiful peachy blush. I was really surprised by this because it's like a brand I've never heard before, and when I got this blush, I couldn't put it down. It was gorgeous. I love this blush. Really pigmented, but you just go in with a light hand and it just comes out great. I love it. Highlighter was another category that was kind of really hard to pick from, but I think you guys are probably gonna guess what it is. Not that I do a ton of makeup on camera, but based on the world of hype, you're probably gonna know. This is the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter. I love this because it works with any look. No matter what skin tone you are, skin type you are, what kind of look you're wearing, you can just pop this on and it's gonna look fine. Like, I've used this in my kit quite a bit. It works beautifully on, it seems like it would be too light for deeper skin tones, but it's not. It's like, it's just the right kind of not too cool, not too warm undertone that it doesn't, even on deep skin tones, it does not come off as ashy. It's gonna come off very glam, so be prepared to look pretty blingy and glam. But this is just, it's beautiful. I don't think I need to say much more. If you're dry, it doesn't look dry or powdery. It's like, it just gives you a beautiful, like, wet, blingy look. You can go in light-handed for a more natural kind of look, but I think what's special about this is how blingy it can get. Like, and just like the packaging is just stunning. I love having this in my kit. Like, I feel like this is great to have in your kit. It's very close to the Dos of Colors Fuego highlighter, which is also wonderful, but it's a little different. This is Dos of Colors Fuego. Let me go ahead and swatch it for you guys. So it's also like a gold champagne-y, pale gold kind of, and it's very beautiful. It will like work with most people. I think, yeah, you can see the difference. It's Anastasia one is just a little bit more reflective. This is more like the Fuego is more of like a dim light kind of look, and the Amrezy is like more of a blingy, hot fire kind of look, you know? I love this one. Another honorable mention I'd like to just quickly consult is this Chrissy Teigen palette is like so underrated. People have not been talking about this. If I'm ever doing kind of like a rosy look or a very warm tone look, I've been loving this highlighter. This is the one called Beach Nectar from Chrissy Teigen. I think, am I wearing it today? Yeah, I'm wearing it today mixed in with a couple different colors. But I think this is just like such a pretty peachy highlighter. Like, you know, it's just kind of smart. Can you see? It's just really pretty. I love that one so much. And everybody knows that the Becca formulas are just beautiful too. Okay, I guess next we'll consult eyes. Let's go ahead and talk about brow products first. Brow products is kind of a hard thing to kind of talk about because it's pretty personal, but the Anastasia brow wizzes will never fail in my collection, in my kit. I always keep these in my kit. I use these on most people. Still use these a lot too, and I have a couple of NYX ones, and I've recently discovered, you know, I noticed that I wasn't really using the NYX ones as often, so I started using them on myself, and I've been really loving the NYX brow pencil in chocolate, and I'm wearing that in my brows today. And something I've discovered this year that like really surprised me. Both these products I got in a BoxyCharm. This eyebrow cream from the brand Cella. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be much of anything. Like this brush is kind of lame, and it seems like this color was not going to be a color that was going to work for me, but it's just such a natural eyebrow color. This is just taupe, and when I wear it in my brows, it just kind of looks like natural brows, and it makes my eyebrows look really full and beautiful, and I've been really loving it. I had no idea that a product that I found in a BoxyCharm was going to like change my brow process so much, and I've been reaching for this a lot this year. I've really loved this product. And here's another product that I got from a BoxyCharm, and this is a brow mascara from Brow Gal in the shade Light Hair number 3. It's just like a tiny little brow mascara with microfibers in it, and I've been loving this too. It's been making my brows look much fuller. I have very thin hair, so the little microfibers just make my brow hairs look thicker, and which in turn makes me look younger and more polished. This has been a very surprising product, and I've been reaching it for it a lot, especially if I really want to kind of bring my look that I'm doing that day to the next level for Instagram. This has been really great. This next product is actually really easy to talk about because it's my favorite eyeliners. And my favorite eyeliners have been the same for a long time, for all of 2018, most of 2017. Favorite waterproof eyeliner is definitely the Makeup Forever Aqua XL in the shade M10. This is the most waterproof, perfect eyeliner on the market. This is just the best waterproof eyeliner on the market. There's just nothing else to say about it. It's the best. It claims to have 24-hour wear. I'll back that up. Yeah, that's definitely, it's great. It does not move. The only way you're gonna get it off is if you use a waterproof makeup remover. Otherwise, it stays in a water line beautifully. It does not run. It doesn't like build up in the corners. It's the best. And as far as like smoky eyeliners go, these MAC eye koals are just beautiful. Like if the client doesn't desperately need waterproof eyeliner, I will try to use this one because it's just like so black and smoky and beautiful. I love these eye koals from MAC. I was actually kind of on the hunt this year for a liquid eyeliner to replace my Kat Von D tattoo liner. I've heard great things about the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I really needed something in my life that has a hair tip, not a felt tip. This is waterproof and it's very matte and it's very black and it's very smooth to put on. It's a beautiful eyeliner. At first I was worried that this was a little bit too liquidy, but after you use it a couple of times, it's not as liquidy, it doesn't run. Like the first couple times you use it, it might bleed a little bit, but since then it has not. Now that I've had it for a little while, it's been really beautiful and I've been really loving this, and I think I'm hoping that this will replace tattoo liner for me. If not, I haven't tried Clinique Pretty Easy. I've heard great things about that one too. I actually have that one next up in my rotation. I'm just trying to, work through this one. I'm trying not to have too many eyeliners going at the same time. You know what I mean? The NYX Epic Ink Liner, this is amazing. As far as mascaras go, there's a lot of mascaras I've been wanting to try this year and I actually picked up, but I haven't opened them up yet and I haven't put them in my rotation. But out of all the mascaras that I've ever tried, I will have to say that my favorite is probably, I don't have it with me because I recently emptied it out, but my favorite of all time that I know of is probably the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. It's beautiful. When I was working at Sephora, they told us the story of how Marc Jacobs was inspired to make this mascara because when he was a kid, his mother used to put velvet flocking onto her eyelashes to make them look really full and like voluminous and beautiful. And I just thought that sounds like such a romantic memory. That sounds so cool. And to take that kind of inspiration and make it into a real product, I think that's really kind of smart. I love that. Like, Marc Jacobs, you're a real artist. And when you put on this mascara, it is so beautiful. It makes your lashes look so full. You don't even need false lashes when you wear this mascara. It's beautiful. It is expensive, but worth every penny. I love it so much. It's better than sex. It's better. I'm really interested to try the Milk Kush mascara, which I have a mini of. I haven't tried it yet. And I'm really interested in trying the Hourglass Caution mascara. I've heard amazing things about that one too. That will be next up in my rotation. For drugstore mascaras, I really wanted to quickly mention this L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. I did try the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which is a beautiful mascara that I love. It's a great mascara, and I actually use that one in my kit just because I like to use drugstore mascaras in my kit because I change them out every 3 months. Like in your personal collection, you could probably get away with using mascara for 6 months, maybe even more. But in a professional kit, I think it's important to switch them out after 3 months. My favorite mascara for freelancing is the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. However, that one's expensive to keep replacing, so I like to use this one. This one's really beautiful. Just like a really thickening, full, beautiful mascara. I love the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. but I like this one better. This one's a little bit fuller and blacker and sexier. I haven't tried the Essence Lash Princess. I have that one in my rotation next. I hope to do more favorites videos throughout 2019, so you'll hear me talk about that. Sure, I'm sure it's gonna be great. I've heard such great reviews about them. As far as lash glue favorites, this one's pretty easy. This is the House of Lashes lash glue. Ain't nothing that lasts better. It's latex free. It lasts really well. It does kind of rip out your lashes if you're not careful. So that's how strong it is. So just be careful with that. But really good lash glue. When it comes to lashes, I tried a lot of really great lashes this year. I tried Lily lashes and Flutter lashes and Cocoa lashes and a bunch of drugstore lashes. The Demi Wispies are probably my favorite for my freelancing kit. I try to put those on almost everybody. Unless you're somebody that's just really afraid of lashes altogether, I'll use like the natural ones. Hard to pick my favorite lashes because they're just all such different vibes, you know? I think the ones that I've used most this year are these 3 packs from Flutter Lashes. These ones are called Irresistible. These are I think called Elegant. These are probably my most used lashes right here. And these are called Timeless. And I use these 3 like so often. Probably the Irresistible ones the most. They're beautiful because they're nice and black and they're flexible and easy to wear, but they're not so big that they cover up your beautiful eye look that you just put together. Like I've been trying to do a lot of like really interesting eye looks in 2018, and you know, a lot of these eye looks need some lashes, but I don't want to put on like Flutter Lashes Intoxicating or like Mykonos, Lily Lashes Mykonos, and just cover up my entire eye look, because now you can't see my eye look. So these are a little bit smaller and they're really pretty and fluttery and sexy, and I love them. They're beautiful. An honorable mention from the drugstore are these Vegas Nay Bronze Beauty from Eylure collab lashes. There was a moment in time when I first got these that I had to like force myself to use different lashes because I was just putting these on all the time. They're so full and black and sexy, and they're like super easy to put on. You just pop them on and you're out the door. And they're just beautiful. I love them. It was really hard to pick my favorite lipstick and my favorite lip gloss, but it was not hard to pick my favorite lip liner, which is the Marc Jacobs Primrose lip liner. This is just like such a beautiful color. I've mentioned this in videos before that this is my favorite lip product of all time. Just the color is so beautiful. You can wear it all over the lips, and it's just like such a beautiful like dark mauve nude. It's just super flattering. And the only thing that I hate about these is that the packaging sucks. Like I'd like to use this freelancing, but I can't, because if I try to clean the tip with alcohol, it breaks. And I've had so many of these break on me. So unfortunately I can't use these on clients anymore. I've tried and it doesn't work. This product is too expensive to constantly break on me on the job. But it is just such a beautiful color. And Marc Jacobs also makes my favorite lipstick formula. Marc Jacobs Lipstick and Slow Burn is one that I put on most of my bridal clients. It's just like a beautiful, universally flattering color, and the formula is really luxe and moisturizing and long wearing, and it just is a beautiful formula. I feel good like scooping a little bit of that into a pot and giving it to the client, because it's such an expensive like luxe lipstick that clients understand why I can't just give you a $40 tube of lipstick. The Slow Burn by Marc Jacobs is probably my favorite lipstick. This year I tried a lot of liquid lipsticks, and I've loved so many of them. But I think my favorite formula might be, this is really hard because Smashbox has a beautiful formula, but I got this liquid lip in a BoxyCharm. And it's in the shade Verona, and it was such a pretty color. I think in the month of July, I think I got this in the June BoxyCharm, but all of July, anytime I needed to wear a lip, I loved this one. I was just like, I couldn't put it down. I was wearing it all the time, and I love the Ofra formula. It's like moussey and not overly drying, but it like It's not very transfer proof. It's beautiful. I love it. I also love the Smashbox formula. Also not overly drying, but beautifully transfer proof and long wearing. Love that too. For lip glosses, I actually did repurchase my NARS Chelsea Girls lip gloss. I haven't opened this up yet actually since I've repurchased it, but I used to use this in my kit all the time, and it would just look beautiful on so many different people. It's like a beautiful, just peachy kind of gloss, and I gave it away to a client once, and I needed it back in my life, so I repurchased it. Love this one. And I've also enjoyed the Fenty Gloss Bomb. I'm actually not sure if the hype is making me love it. I think I need to wear it some more to determine that. Do I truly love it? Is it truly one of my favorite lip glosses? Or is the hype kind of building it up in my head for me? But it is beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's definitely actually beautiful. A quick honorable mention I wanted to mention is this ColourPop lippy stick in the shade Grunge. It's a brown, and I always would get compliments whenever I wore this. This is definitely my favorite ColourPop color, and I reach for it all the time because I just think it looks so cool on me. It's just like this, it's a nude, but it's a little bit darker. It's like more of a brown. And it just makes me look sexy. It makes me look like a cool 90s chick, you know? I love this one. Something that I've recently been loving, I just bought this back in October or November from the Desi and Katie collab. This is the color Aftermath. It's like this beautiful rusty red. Rusty reds are one of my favorite colors to wear, and I'm constantly looking for a beautiful like rusty red, reddish nude kind of color, and I think this might be it. I've been wearing this one a ton, and I think it's so beautiful and flattering and sexy. Love it so much. Hey, I think I've covered all of the makeup already. The only thing that there's left to talk about is eyeshadow palettes, and you guys, eyeshadow palettes are my thing. Like, eyeshadows are my thing. It's the thing that I collect the most of. It's my favorite shit. I'm constantly sampling shit out. And I think I want to do like a whole video of like all... Melissa Gold made this video like ranking all the palettes that she bought in 2018 and ranking them from like her favorite to her least favorite. I think I want to do that. Let's go ahead and just talk about a few eyeshadow palettes that I loved this year. That I think I've narrowed it down to like my favorites. Now, I don't know if this is my favorite of all time, but I think this is one of the smartest nude palettes that came out in 2018. And I haven't been able to go to a gig without this palette. This is Anastasia Soft Glam. This is just like it's just this really smart palette. It is the perfect companion to Modern Renaissance, which is a great like hyped up brand. It's super foolproof. It's like the most easy to blend formula I think on the market. Because it's so blendable and soft, yes, there's going to be fallout, but it's easy to, you know, just do your eyes first. It's not a big deal. This is just really smart for artists. I feel like this palette was made for artists. There's like a row of like super stunning shimmers. Many of these colors are like repeats from her collection, but they're like, you know, the most popular colors. Like Orange Soda is like a cult favorite from Anastasia. Tempera is a cult favorite from Anastasia. Cypress Umber and the Noir. This black is such a good black, and it's just like it's such a essential palette for bridal, and it pairs beautifully with Modern Renaissance. I take those two palettes with me to most gigs. I don't know if this is my favorite palette of all time. That's hard to tell because I can't actually say that because my favorite eyeshadow looks are always colorful, right? So my favorite palette can't be a neutral palette. But I will say that this is a really smart palette, and this is a great palette for artists. I love it very much. All the shadows are beautiful. There's like not a shadow in here that I wouldn't use. I love the red, the rusty red. The mulberry is actually really stunning. I love the dusty rose. It's a beautiful palette. It's just so stunning. It's amazing. But it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention a Brights palette, right? Like all I do is bright colors, right? So this is probably my favorite Brights palette of all time. I have to say something really quick. There's a palette in the world that I missed out on that I think is responsible for my shopping addiction and my obsession with eyeshadow palettes. Forever and always, I regretted not getting the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca palette. Shame on them for never bringing it back. You know, they know. They know people wanted that palette to come back. I mean, I probably wouldn't buy it now due to circumstances, but the truth is, I think Sugarpill is the brand that does brights the best in the whole wide world. So my Sugarpill Pro palette is where it's at. Look at how bright and gorgeous these colors are. They're super pigmented, they're blendable, they're eyeshadows, they don't stain, which is a problem with a lot of bright palettes. And I've enjoyed lots of beautiful bright palettes. This is not the only one I've loved and enjoyed this year, but this is probably the best one. This is the most foolproof one. And of course, I reach for the Urban Decay Electric palette a lot. I've actually used my Kristen Leanne Kaleidoscope palette a lot this year. I know you can't buy that one anymore, but I thought that was a beautifully done palette, and I've reached for it so much this year. Just because it's discontinued doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to enjoy it. I'm going to continue to enjoy it. And then my NYX Ultimate Brights palette was a beautiful companion to this because it had a couple more muted colors. I also have Love Plus in a single somewhere. That's the red. It's like the most perfect red matte color. I can't praise this palette quite enough, and it just looks gorgeous. By the way, I posted that, I don't have a huge following, you guys. I posted this palette when I got it on my Instagram, and Sugarpill reposted me, and I felt so special. I only had 500 followers at the time. I still only have 700 followers, but still. Sugarpill is a glorious brand for artists. They're really just trying to make really poppy, bright, interesting, and different makeup, and they're doing a great job with that, and I love Sugarpill. Sugarpill, can we be friends? Can we be closer friends? I love you. And there's one more eyeshadow I want to mention quickly. This is a new addition to my collection. And yeah, shame on Kat Von D for being who she is, for being a bad girl. Once upon a time, she did a collab with Too Faced. It was a Kat Von D and Too Faced collab, and they put out this palette that was a nice palette, but there was only one shadow that I'm pretty interested in that one, and it was the color Swoon. It was this beautiful, rich, red, shimmery color. It was just a true red, and it had some shimmer in it. It was just stunning. And recently she's put it out as a single, and I thought about getting it. This palette was taunting me, and it's very, very expensive, but I ended up caving and buying it, and I am so glad because it is the most interesting and different palette in my collection. There's nothing quite like it, and it is just stunning. It feels heavy and expensive and luxe, and it's gorgeous. And I don't regret buying this. I almost didn't. I almost talked myself out of it. I almost told myself, you can't buy $125 palettes. It's too crazy. But yeah, it was 25% off on the website, and I bought it. And this shadow right here is probably my favorite eyeshadow of all time. It is the eyeshadow of my dreams. I am wearing it on my eyes a little bit today. It's I just patted a little bit over the center of my lids just to give it a little sheen. And I think it's just stunning. Let me go ahead and swatch it. It is just so beautiful. It's so reflective, and that was just one pass, and it's just pigmented. And this palette is gorgeous too, but for me, it's about this shade. I mean, these are super interesting colors. All these shimmers are just wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of colors. These transformers, these special, they call them special shades. These are amazing. They really kind of transform a look, if I do say so myself. It is just a beautiful palette, and I do not regret buying it. I don't know if this is my favorite of all time as far as the palette goes, but I think this red shimmer is just... I haven't used this palette enough. As you can see, some of these shadows are completely untouched. This brown is untouched, this bronzy color is untouched. I think I've used this one once, but I keep reaching for this palette and keep trying to, it's inspired me to come up with more red shimmery looks so I can keep using this shadow because I love it so much. Pat McGrath Mothership 5 palette is so amazing. And the last product to mention in the makeup category is like this setting spray combination. You guys, you don't need to try a bajillion different setting sprays in the world. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that this is a perfect combination. If you wanna have good looking, beautiful skin and makeup that lasts all day, this is what you need. This is the MAC Fix Plus setting spray that you've probably already tried it, you've already heard all about it, but I love it because if you are dry and you are trying to look glowy, this will do it for you, and it will also take down the powdery look of your foundation and make you look really glowy and make your skin look really beautiful. And it helps your makeup last. And you can use it for, it's such a versatile spray too. You can use it to foil shadows, you can use it as a primer, you can use it as a setting spray. It's a very functional multi-use product, and I think it's a must for makeup artists. And this is the Scandinavia Bridal setting spray. This is just like Urban Decay All Nighter. I do believe they're basically the same thing. But these two together, this is a beautiful long wearing setting spray, and these two together I use on every client, just about any client. Like I might not use this one on oily clients. These two together are just beautiful and I love them so much. For ultimate long wearing setting spray, I also want to quickly mention Final Seal by Ben Nye. But that's a setting spray I don't really use on makeup clients. I use that for like special effects clients. But that is the most long wearing, intense, like the only people that are going to sweat off makeup after you put on Ben Nye Final Seal is people that have a sweat gland condition. Like some people who have an abnormal amount of sweat. But normal amount of sweat people like that, Ben Nye Final Seal will last all day on you. It's gonna be great. That is all my makeup products, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that. Right now I actually have dinner plans, so I'm gonna step out the door and do my dinner plans, and I'm gonna come back and do skincare. Actually, should I make another video for skincare? Yeah, I'm gonna make another video for skincare because this is gonna be really long. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed that, guys. Let me know down in the comments if these are also your favorite products of all time or of 2018. If there's anything that you think I would like, I'd love to hear your recommendations down below too. Of course, I'm going on a no-buy, so I don't know if I'll be able to try them, but maybe I have them in my stash. Well, let's talk about it. Tell me about your favorite products down below, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Hope you have a happy new year, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!